The Chicago Bears just got screwed over totally by Caleb Williams. This not only goes for the Chicago Bears, but also any other team that wants to trade for the pick or for Justin Fields. And the funny thing about it, the crazy thing about the whole thing, no one really seems to care about it. No one even seems aware of it. I'm going to fully break this down, but what's up? This is Sean from Sports Talk Bears. If you love the content, hit the subscribe button for me. Would love for you to be a part of this community as we push to 10,000 subscribers. So let's talk about what's going on here. This is a pretty big thumbing of the nose to the league all around. Caleb Williams is having one of the most unorthodox pre-draft processes I've ever seen, and he's been the top prospect for like multiple years. And as you know, he attended the NFL Combine. He didn't participate in workouts. That's one thing, but then he did something completely new. He refused to submit to medicals at all and stated in his press conference that there is only one me and would only submit to medical checks during team visits at his discretion. The Bears in their situation, they have the number one pick, as you know, regardless of whether they use it or trade it. Consensus is that pick is, in fact, Caleb Williams. And this puts them in a precarious position, right? In order to get this right, they are in a bad spot. So what does Chicago do? The Bears originally scheduled an extraordinarily early top 30 visit with Caleb Williams this past Tuesday. That's reported by Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer. This would have been one of the earliest pre-draft visits ever, would have been a courtesy to the Bears, I think, due to the combine circumstances. And these circumstances are what Caleb Williams created. So he should have stayed with that courtesy. Also, this would allow the Bears to make sure he checks out medically, spend a bit more time with him as perhaps the only team in line for his services, and also allow us to make a decision on Justin Fields within a time frame that would enable us to get max value out of him in a trade if we in fact decide to go in Caleb's direction. So here we are. An appointment is agreed upon. The consideration is given as a courtesy once again due to Williams' unprecedented refusal to submit to medical testing. What does his camp do? Well, they changed their mind, stating that they prefer to just focus on his upcoming pro day and hold court then. From Albert Breer. This is from a story on sportingnews.com. I think it's so important to give credit, and this is no different. So check out the story on sportingnews.com. It's super important. And also, Ben from Sports Talk Denver, he made me aware of this angle on what Caleb's camp is doing to the Bears. So I want to give him a huge shout out. He does an amazing job as part of this Sports Talk family. Watch his show. You won't be sorry. So once again, from Albert Breer on sportingnews.com. Typically, teams host individual prospect meetings in late March. That's normal. And throughout April as the pro day circuit's completed. Chicago, they wanted to meet with Williams shortly after the 2024 NFL Combine. This was this last Tuesday, but Williams' team ultimately decided to focus on his pro day first, and this is straight from Breer's reporting. The idea was pretty simple. Chicago wanted to check some final boxes before finalizing its plan at quarterback before free agency starts next week. In the end, Williams and the team decided to move things around rather than shuttling the quarterback to and from Cali again. In the midst of preparations for his March 20th pro day, the Bears will host Williams in Chicago shortly after that instead. So after March 20th. So now the Bears are unable to get any medical information, no final workout, no offensive interview follow-up, nada, zero, zilch until at least after the first week of free agency. So how does that affect the Bears' plans at quarterback? I think you can see this. Chicago's request to host him early, it's fully understandable, right? Getting medicals, doing all due diligence before making a decision on such a big move. It's absolutely essential, right? It makes sense. The source of pressure. As you know, if they go in Caleb's direction, Fields, he's got to be traded. And in order to get max value, doing it ahead of free agency, that maximizes his value. As other top free agents won't be actively on the market yet, it's just a matter of supply and demand, right? It's a matter of when the market will be at its peak. Teams like the Vikings, teams like the Raiders, the Atlanta Falcons, even the Bucks, right? They're in a place of uncertainty at quarterback right now. We needed to strike while the iron's hottest here. Now we can't do it. As Breer further shares, this is why the Bears were looking to be, quote, aggressive in getting answers on Williams, who they see as a unique talent with separation from the rest of the quarterback class, and one that has separated him totally from the rest of the NFL as far as a prospect. He has looked across the board as being the number one prospect in the whole draft. I might disagree. A lot of us think it's MHJ, but we'll table that conversation for later. So Williams' early top 30 visit, that was meant to be a part of that aggressive approach, right? Instead, the Bears, they got to wait until after free agency begins, until getting one-on-one time with Williams. It essentially puts everything on hold. The incentive to trade Fields on the Bears end, that mathematically explodes if Caleb crushes the interview, tests out medically, checks the final boxes in a workout. The trade of Fields could have happened incredibly fast, or the trade of the pick could have happened very quickly, and for max value, I might add. So you see, he didn't do medicals at the combine, so other teams have to wait as well. He puts everything at a standstill, so it's in his control. Not submitting to medicals, it's a market manipulation tactic. It's so he can control where he goes, who drafts him. No team's going to trade with the Bears for the pick until they've medically checked him out and exhaustively interviewed him, and not to mention have a private workout, right? That's important as well. We don't want to just rely on game tape. The pick can't be traded. Fields can't be moved. Nothing can happen. And guess what? If a team who wants to trade up for the number one pick is a team Caleb doesn't want to go to for some reason, he just refuses the visit. He refuses the medical once again. He has screwed the Chicago Bears at every single turn regarding their quarterback decision. And also, he's hamstrung every single team that would want him, and it's on purpose. They not only have to go through the Bears, but also now through his team. Not to mention that he doesn't have an agent and his dad's in control. There's already been issues with that. I mean, this is just a mess all around. So without certain info on Caleb, the Bears, they got to wait to feel 100% comfortable on a decision on Fields. That's part of why Bears general manager Ryan Poles is open to waiting a bit to trade Fields if the quarterback market is slow to develop, per Albert Breer once again. The landing spots for Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, they may influence his timeline, and so too could Chicago's opinion of Williams. As shown in the Sporting News story once again, the Bears' valuation of Fields, it could also delay any potential trade. Currently, Chicago is using the 2013 and the 2018 Alex Smith trades and the 2021 Sam Darnold deal as potential models for a deal. I mean, it's not apples to apples, but it's really all we have to go on as far as historical guidance for how to do this trade. Each of those trades, they featured a day 2 pick as part of the deal, with the first Smith and Darnold deals fetching second-round picks, while the second Smith trade, that was built around a third-round pick. Now, I really think we should be getting a first from Fields, but that doesn't really matter right now. That doesn't mean the Bears will wait to deal Fields until they can get that type of package, nor does it mean that the Bears would wait until after Williams' visit to select Fields. As mentioned, his value could absolutely evaluate if teams fill their quarterback needs. He's also due a contract extension, as we know, that could complicate the trade agreement, but something else could happen, though. Free agency, that could make a team absolutely desperate if they're caught in a situation of striking out on a free agent quarterback choice, not having a draft pick high enough to get a top prospect, not being able to trade their current quarterback for max value. I mean, we can think of Washington and Sam Howell. There's a possibility something could happen. This could work in the Bears' favor and drive up the price for Fields or the number one pick. It's just hard to say on that angle of reasoning. But if it was up to me, I'd tell the Bears to run far away from Caleb Williams, get as far away from him as you possibly can, and run fast like you're registering a 40 time at the combine. So many red flags, so much entitlement, so much evidence that his view is always going to be, as he said in his combine interview, there's only one of me. Also, when asked what questions he had for the Bears, this is crazy. His response was that he simply asked them one question. Hey, do you want to win? Such a lack of humility here. I don't want this guy anywhere close to the team I love and root for. Caleb Williams has gone out of his way to make it the most difficult process possible for all involved. And we are just like the Bears in a holding pattern, waiting for the next development. And I'm confident Poles will still balance this situation to his favor. Stay tuned. But let's flee from Caleb Williams. I don't like this. You guys, let me know what you think. It is so good spending this time with you. Bear down, and we'll talk soon. See ya.